Welcome to RuneScape Behind the Scenes. This week it's all about action and adrenaline as mods Chris L and Hunter continue showing off the evolution of combat's action and adrenaline bars.
Okay, so this is the action bar. It's attached to the top of the chat box. As you can see, you can minimise the chat box and you can also minimise the action bar. So if you want to chat and not do combat or vice versa, that is a possibility.
You can minimise both together if you really just don't want to see that whatsoever.
Okay, and then obviously you need something to put on your action bar. So let's take a look at the new ability book, which is taking up what was the magic ability tab. And you see you've got abilities for each skill there.
Yeah, you just showed some ranged magic and defence, I think, but we're going on to some of the attack abilities.
Yeah, so you take it out, provided you unlock the ability, you can take it out of the book and drag it onto the bar as we are doing here. You might notice that that one there, for example, it's not coloured in. This shows that you don't have a requirement to use that ability. I think in this case that's actually a two-handed ability, and in that case there, the one I just dragged onto number 6, it's what we call a threshold ability, which requires adrenaline, which we'll touch on in a second about how that unlocks. But basically you can see as you change your gear or as combat changes, different abilities become available or locked to you to use in that bit of combat.
Yep, so we're dragging on some defensive abilities mixed with the attack abilities now. I've seen some people on the forum worrying that it will all just be presets, so that will dispel those disbeliefs. But I think we're just about to start on the actual combat now.
I was just showing about the two-handed eggs. You can see some of them turned off, some of them turned back on. Those two at the end required a shield. And obviously with the dragon two-handed you can't have a shield. And likewise there, I've got a weapon but not a shield, and then there's the shield again, and the shield abilities turn back on. So you can keep up to date with what's going on your bar just by looking if it is coloured in or not.
Yeah, so the main thing that you'll notice now is we've got the green section above the abilities on the hotbar now. This is your adrenaline bar, which will slowly go up as you do auto attacks, but when you use a basic ability you'll get a nice extra jump just like that.
There you go.
You'll get an extra jump soon that you'll be able to see, and then we'll be able to show you some threshold abilities.
Okay, so yeah, threshold abilities are unlocked at 50%, so you notice in a second, there you go, the bar's just glowed, and ability number 6, that one's just available because it's a threshold ability. 7 is also available, but it's actually greyed out because we don't have a two-hander. So there we go, I've changed to a two-hander, and now I can do that ability because I have all the requirements. And there you go, I've spun, and that is actually an AoE attack, but there's only one guy as ever.
Yeah, but we might as well show that a bit later on, actually doing some AoE.
Yeah. Okay, so we're nearly at ultimate level here, but I think I got a bit too into it, and yeah, he died in this video. So we'll show you what happens when combat stops. You've got about 15 seconds to carry it on, otherwise this happens, where you come out of combat stance and your adrenaline starts going down.
Yeah, so with NPCs you can jump onto another NPC as you wish, but in PvP that's going to be a bit different, so you can't jump in with an ultimate. But as it goes down you see you've just gone past half there, so you can no longer use hemorrhage as it requires 50%, and you've not got that anymore.
And then you just go back to square one, which means, there you go, business as usual.
So as promised we'll be showing off Whirlwind in just AoE at this point. We'll build up a bit of adrenaline first and show off a few more abilities.
Okay, so here we are, we'll generate the adrenaline. Again, the normal combat system that's currently in game, you just click and wait, and that is still an option here. If you do nothing, then you still generate a bit of adrenaline. Just encourage you to click it every now and then if you're not into interacting too much. And then as you get to the ultimates, I think we're about to unlock one. See, we've gone past 50%.
Yeah, and that's some of our defensive abilities. Whilst you don't see anything immediate, if these guys weren't punch bags and they dealt you any damage, you'd hit them. But now we're getting towards ultimate level, so focus on this, where we're going to go spinny with Whirlwind and then show you an ultimate.
There you go, and then so you can see the bar's full, it's really, really bright now, ready to be used, and I think we're about to fire off an ability called Meteor Strike. Here it comes. Boom, and ultimates drain all of the adrenaline down to 0. As you can see the bar's emptied again. Think of it like your special attack bar at the moment. Guy died obviously. Ultimates have really powerful effects. We'll be disclosing that in due time, I'm sure.
So this one is customizing the keybinds. If you don't like what the presets are at the moment, then you can customize them to what you want to. This is only for a single key, so you can use anything that's on your keyboard pretty much. mostly alphanumeric, but there's a few code keys that work as well.
Yeah, and if you're not happy with your layout, yes, you just showed there, we can drag the abilities to the bin and it gets rid of them.
Yeah, similarly we can also swap abilities if we dragged it to another point, but that also shows us being able to drag the quick prayer icon down, and similarly with the run icon. There's no reason in game that I can think of that needs it, but we've let you do it anyway.
Just in case you're lazy. And you see we've locked the action bar there, so if you were clicking it in combat, because you don't have to press the keys, you can still click it. But if you weren't happy with, accidentally dragging it in combat, that locks it, so you don't accidentally click and drag rather than doing an ability. You can see here we're showing the multiple bars off, so shift 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 will instantly change it, so you can have melee, range, magic, or even like a skilled setup for hotbars with teleports and high alchemy.
Yeah, you're also able to click the arrows on the right of the hotbar to switch which tab you're on. If you prefer to do it via clicking, that's also an option.
Alright, and then to end, we didn't want to leave out anyone but melee, we're focusing on range and mage as well, and here's a magic ability, ultimate, there it is, Tsunami.
And mods Chris L and Hunter will be back next week for their final reveal of what's in store for the evolution of combat. And be warned, it's a biggie.